What if I told you that becoming a millionaire is less about how smart you are and it's more about consistency and following the right rules? Proven systems is how you get there. And I want to share with you exactly what I've done to be able to get there in my 20s and why you can do it too if you follow these 10 lessons I've learned. If you're interested in what my thoughts are, definitely keep watching. Hey guys, my name's Ravi and welcome back to Personal Finance with Ravi Sharma. If you're new here, smash that subscribe button because I talk about real estate, personal development, and all things financial freedom. Now I'm gonna make an announcement halfway through this video, so be sure to watch all the way through because I think you're gonna absolutely love it. Now let's jump in. Lesson 1, your network is equal to your net worth. I didn't really understand this in my early 20s until I had this moment where I came up to my friends, it was my core group of friends from high school, and I said, guys, I'm buying an investment property. They go and tell me, well, okay, where and why? I said, well, it's going to be regional Australia. It was regional New South Wales. And instead of being really proud of me, they ended up shitting on me. And I didn't really understand why until much later. Some of the things they said put doubt in my mind. And you could be one of these people. In your 20s, you're starting out and you're really wanting to pioneer through something you've educated yourself on. You really need to trust yourself. What happened at that time was they told me, why would you want mortgage? Why would you want debt? Why wouldn't you go and buy your own place and then get your first home owner grants? This sounds silly. And at the time, yes, it did shake me, but what I realized over time is that's because I wasn't in the right circles. Now, I'm fortunate enough to be around people that are very successful, some people running multi-million-dollar businesses. I have group chats where we're communicating every single day and catching up at least once a month. And it's drastically changed my mindset and limiting beliefs. So if you're someone that's wanting to get further ahead in, say, real estate, you need to be part of companies that allow you to grow as an individual, but also develop your education in the space. Same thing goes for if you want to be in the fitness space or you want to go out and have an e-commerce business, go and align yourself with people that are in that space already and doing things that are different. Because your network is definitely going to increase your net worth if you're in the right circles. Lesson 2 is trust the data, not your emotions. When I started investing in real estate, I understood this very, very early. When you have people around you telling no and you get limiting beliefs and self-doubt, you go back to the data and the numbers because men and women lie, but numbers do not. And that's what I understood very early on. And that's why I've been successful in building such a large portfolio in real estate so early in my 20s and 30s. And that's why I urge you to understand how data works. And if you don't, you're going to be competing with people who really understand this. So if you know you're someone who gets emotional about purchases, you're going out there using your life savings to go and invest in this one property in an area you've probably never heard of, you're going to get emotions kicking in. And that's why you need almost an arm's length distance in that transaction. And it's why I built Search Property. And yes, you could go on and say, oh, it's another plug for a search property buyers agency. It is, because I know that people like yourself need the help, which is why I advocate for it. And I'm so proud of what we've built. We've helped over 1,000 clients. And there's a reason why we keep building our team, because we want to give as much support to you. Going out and buying property is so easy when you look at it online and everyone's saying, oh, I bought 10 properties, I bought 30 properties. When you're going through it and something goes wrong, I'm telling you, the emotions kick in. It still happens to me as well, which is why I let my team do the buying for me as well. If you need help with any of that, I'll leave a link in the description box below and you can contact us for free. But if you're gonna build wealth, you need to focus on data and you need to focus on the right people. Forget about what your emotions are and forget what the headlines say that cause an emotion from you saying the market might crash, I might have to wait now. Number 3 is invest early and build the muscles. I've used this example before, so I'm gonna use it again, which is when you go into the gym for the first time, you're gonna see some people who are further along in their journey. You'll say, oh my God, they're lifting like 200 kilos. I'm gonna go and try and do that on my day 1. Guess what happens? 1, you might not even be able to move the bar. And 2, if you somehow manage to do that, you're gonna injure yourself. And then that injury could be very severe, which means you never go back to the gym again. That's what happens when it comes to property. When people go out there and say, oh, I saw someone do development and they did this and it looks sexy, they go and try and do that. And if they get wrecked on the first go, they never come back to property again. And when you look at real estate and how many millionaires have built their wealth in real estate, you're gonna realize you wanna be in the game versus out of the game. And something that you can do early is just to get some runs on the board and start by dipping your toes in there. Now, when it comes to investing, I think a lot more people right now watching have the ability to go and invest into shares, into ETFs, and start building up the momentum. Learn how it works to maybe lose money on paper, how it feels when you make a lot of money on paper, and then what it feels like to sell and to buy. And counter to that, all the emotions that are out there and focusing on data instead. Then after you do that, you get to level 2, which is taking that money to go and invest with debt and purchase real estate. That's when you go and level up and your wealth exponentially increases from that point. That's what's happened for me. I started in shares, built up my investing muscles, and realized I can make a lot more wealth in real estate, and that's what's happened. I can use the equity from one property, repeat the process, and that's what I've covered off in this video, which you should definitely check out, which is how you can turn $100,000 into a $5 million portfolio. And trust me, it's not going to be that hard if you know the right systems. Now, I mentioned at the beginning of this video, I had a unique opportunity and I want to share it with you guys. If you're someone in the lending space, have worked at a bank or working as a mortgage broker right now, we are hiring. We have the Refine Loans team who takes care of more than 90% of all of our clients in transactions and helping them get the right loans. So if you're someone who has lending experience and you really want to level up, you need to be in the right environments, connecting with the right people, and that's why this unique opportunity is exactly for you. So if you are interested in applying, getting involved with one of the fastest growing mortgage broking companies in Australia, and what I believe will be the #1 mortgage broking company within the next 18 months, you definitely want to apply. I'm going to leave the link in the description box below, as well as the pinned comment as well. Occasionally, you'll have KFC with me. So if you're interested in being in the circle and you're based in Sydney, definitely go ahead and apply. I promise you, you will not regret it, especially with the team that they've got growing out and the culture that's there. You're gonna learn a bunch, but you're also gonna absolutely kick some goals. Oh, and by the way, if you wanna buy more real estate, you're gonna be in the right environment for that as well. Lesson 4 is focus more on earning, less on saving. And what I mean by this is when we went through school, we always got taught one thing: save your money and avoid debt. But it's the same people that taught us this that told us you need to go and buy your own place, and that is the only way to live. You work for 40 years and then you hope that you have a comfortable retirement. If that's the life that you want, you're probably not watching this video. You're definitely not this far into the video. And if you are that person, I urge you to start getting into the right conversations, because that is the average life. What you want is exceptional. You want to go out there and retire on your own terms. You want to be doing a job that you really love as well. And that's why it's important that you focus on earning, not just saving. Because if you can earn more, there's unlimited capacity for how much you can earn. But when you're saving just to save, you can only save 100% of your income. And if your income is 70,000 or 100,000, that is the most you could ever save. But if you say, well, I'm gonna continue earning more, yes, I'm gonna have a savings plan, I'm gonna have an investing plan, but what's your earning plan look like? Are you going to seek promotions? Are you gonna move different companies? Are you gonna go and upskill yourself to make as much money as possible? Because if you can do that, you can save 100% of an income that's exponential. And that's why it's important you focus on earning, especially during your wealth creation phase. Lesson 5, understand good debt versus bad debt. I'm gonna give you the example really easily. Bad debt is associated with your own house, and I'll come back to that because it's very controversial. Things like buying a car, things like taking out a personal loan to go on a holiday, using your credit card or Afterpay or something like that to go and buy some new clothes, but you haven't even worn the clothes from last year. But anyways, that is bad debt. Good debt is productive debt that you can use to grow your wealth. Now, this is why it's controversial, because good debt would be associated with things like investment properties and you investing into things. Your property, though, according to some people like Robert Kiyosaki, is a liability and not an asset. And that's because it's a cost to live in there. There's no cash flow being generated. But you can go and flip that script, because that property, your owner-occupier, can grow in equity. And if it grows in equity and you have this plan to use the equity to invest, well, then it becomes somewhat of an asset. Although not on a cash flow basis, the capital growth perspective, it definitely does. So you want to focus more on good debt, less on bad debt. And trust me, this is how the banks work as well, which is why some people can borrow so much more if they continue rent vesting, which is renting where they want to live and investing where the numbers make sense. Lesson 6, and something that was so important in my 20s, is passion over money. Some people look at my journey and say, well, yeah, you got lucky, you got into property and you got into property early in your 20s. I'm happy for you, you've gone and killed it. But what people don't see, and it's something I cover off in my book, which is Retire Filthy Rich with Real Estate, is I had so many jobs in my early 20s. In fact, the day after my year 12 school formal, I started working. I was working in retail. I did that for a little bit, worked at multiple brands. I decided I didn't like that. I wanted to work in a marketing agency, tried that. I even worked at a funeral home and did marketing for their urns and coffins. Yes, I know it's freaking weird and don't judge me, but my parents completely killed off that idea when they found out. But what I mean by passion over money is you've got to try things and understand why you like one thing over the other. Because I'm telling you, if you can find what your passion is, you will find how to monetize it. And when you monetize something you love, you will work the extra hours after your 9 to 5, you'll work on the weekends, and you'll hustle so hard because guess what? You absolutely love it. And you can sense this even with me making videos. I was making videos when I had like 2 subscribers, and I'm still making videos when I've got over 86,000 subscribers. Guess what? I'm probably gonna still be making videos when I've passed 500,000 subscribers. On the topic of subscription, you should definitely subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to get the channel past 100K. Number 7, have a vision and stick to it. I have not met a single wealthy person that hasn't got a vision and they focus on it day in, day out. When I draw on my own experience, I've seen the difference when I wake up in the morning and I've got this one vision, I'm manifesting this life or my dream life, which is what I like to call it. I go and add to the notes section in my Apple Notes. And what I do is I say, this is the dream life. If I was to wake up, this is what I would like to do. This is what it would be by the time I go to sleep. And I go and focus on that all the time. So if every action I do every single day is not aligned with that vision, I just don't do it. And that is something you need to employ in your own life, because having a goal or having the vision for where you want to head is going to help you so much in sticking to the plan, to the strategy, and to the roadmap. When you're looking at real estate, you don't want to just go for the next shiny thing. You want to go, is this going to help me get to my end goal or my dream life? And if it's not, you need to can it and keep scope of focus. Number 8, and is by far the most passionate I will ever be on this video, is don't listen to average people. You're gonna get average results when you listen to average people. When you listen to high performers, you're gonna become a high performer. It's just simple. That's why people go and read books, they go and listen to podcasts, they go and listen to Ravi's channel, because you may not have extraordinary people in your circle. And that's why if you're gonna listen to the average people, you're gonna get average results. And we already know what that looks like. Average people right now are complaining about everything. They're not taking accountability for anything. They lack vision, they lack purpose. And unfortunately, when things happen, like the government changes rules, they fall into a group of negativity and lack of accountability. They say that my position is because of something else. I want you to focus on how you can change for yourself, and it's very empowering when you have accountability. Despite the government changing rules, you're gonna say, cool, they've changed the rules, but what can I do to be able to adapt? And I know most people will get affected by this, including myself, so I need to pivot and make sure that I'm not affected negatively. If I had listened to the average people around me, I can tell you now, I would never have bought my property when I was 21, and I would never have taken on so much debt in my 20s to now be 32 and hold a portfolio that now generates me money, but also long-term wealth. So listen to the right people and you will get the right results. Number 9 is don't compare yourself to anyone else. Now you might be listening to me and saying, oh, Ravi's got X amount of properties, look how much wealth he has, he's got a business and this and that, I want to go and do the same thing. Use it as inspiration or motivation, but your goals are going to be different to mine, because they might be making 100 million or 200 million dollars, but I know what their lifestyle looks like. And their lifestyle is not something I aspire to have, and that doesn't align with my vision. So why would I go and do things that now get me to that point? Because ultimately, I might have a lot more money than I wanted, a lot more real estate that I wanted or needed, and I'm gonna be unhappy. So what was the whole point anyway? I wanna focus on what makes me happy and not compare my day 1 to someone's day 100. You might be out there looking at buying your first property. You comparing your one property to where someone else has gotten 10, 15, 20 properties is just unrealistic. What you need to do is put in the reps, put in the time, and consistently focus on these principles, and you will get to where you want to be. And number 10, compound growth is absolutely real, and it doesn't just apply to your real estate portfolio, it also applies to your skills. Going out there and leveling up your skills, if it's just the one extra podcast, one extra YouTube video, and putting it into practice, it will compound over the long term. If I go out there for a walk today and I do an extra 10 steps tomorrow, by the end of the year, I'll have done more steps than I've ever done before. And that's why it's so important, the same way you look at fitness, you look at real estate as well, because that first property might feel like it's such a drop in the ocean, it's not gonna do anything. In 10, 15 years time, believe me, it will. When I purchased my first property, it was about $190,000. Can you imagine what my head was going through at that time, saying, oh my God, I just put all of my income, all of my savings into this one property, and I'm supposed to now wait to get to financial freedom? That same property is now worth $450,000 to $500,000. And yes, that may not help me retire, But every time it's gone up and created equity, I've been able to use that to buy multiple other properties. And that is how compounding growth works. If you did nothing else after purchasing your first 2 or 3, and if you waited for the next 20 to 30 years, you'll have wealth beyond your imagination and your passive income will make more than your active income. So I urge you to stay the course. If you need help with this, again, use the link in the description box below to 1, book in a call with our team, or 2, if you're in lending, work at a bank, or you're a mortgage broker that really wants to level up and hit new heights, you're gonna be part of the biggest and fastest growing mortgage broking company in Australia. And so that's why I urge you to apply as well. And again, we'll have KFC once in a while as well. So how good's life? So if you have enjoyed this video, share it and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thanks guys.